So I want to talk about something that's pretty dark, and it's sex addiction, um, especially in Christians. There's a lot of backsliding Christians. If this is the end times, then, a lot of people fall away from Jesus. And I'm relapsing right now. I'm backsliding, and I want to feel good. So I'm back in my flesh. I'm relying on my flesh to make me feel good. And, I was born a sinner. A lot of people don't understand that. We were born sinners, and the only way to be saved is through Jesus. And I can totally understand that I was a born sinner. I've been playing with myself since I was like 5, okay? And over the years, the more I pay attention to that and feed it with, playing with myself, the bigger it gets, the more wicked it gets, the kinkier it gets, the more taboo it gets. And there's this whole movement out there. I'm not going to call out anyone in particular, but they're doing things that is not. It's not based on love. Obviously, sex should be consensual. It should be making love. It should be giving beauty and love to someone. Not there shouldn't be any pain. There shouldn't be any violence. There shouldn't be any kinkiness or perversion. That is all from Satan. That's why this video is called Satan in Sex. All right. And so I really scared myself because, I've been feeding my addictions for a long time. Then I found God again in 2016 through a heavy metal song by Brian Head Welch called Love. And I broke down. The Holy Spirit wrecked me for days. I was crying. Beautiful. And then I got baptized last year in North Carolina in a river. So, I love Jesus, but I have these bouts where I go into darkness, and it's this battle between good and evil, literally going on. And yesterday, I was like, let's just go for it, meaning the bad stuff, and I wound up bleeding, and during what I was doing to myself, I felt like I was being attacked by a demon. It was almost like a ritual. And I was like, what the heck's going on? I'm not ever doing this again. I took a shower, I cleaned the room, I smudged it with sage, I prayed to Jesus, I called in Archangel Michael and Gabriel, and I was like, wow, it always gets worse. Just like any other addiction, the more you feed it, the worse it gets. And so if you're like playing around and you're a swinger and you're inviting other people into the party, in bed and all of this other stuff, it's just an addiction, and Satan loves it. He wants you to keep going further until you die. Basically, no one is ever satisfied with their addiction. They always have to increase it and make it more taboo, more kinky, more perverted. That's what's going on with the corrupt. The top level people is that they're not just happy going to Thailand and picking up, a 18-year-old. They got to keep increasing it and, getting it more taboo and perverted because they get bored with regular love making. They get bored with just making $1 million. They want to make $5 million. They get bored with the Lamborghini. They gotta get the Bugatti. They gotta get 5 Bugattis. Those addictions, you're never going to fill your heart. You're never going to feel satisfied with what you get. And so I'm done. I mean, I'm tired. I'm tired of living in the flesh. And to top it off, I feel distant from God. Every time I do stuff like that, I feel like he just, goes away. I feel distant. And I want him back. And I know that we're his lost sheep. And in a way, I mean, he is our father. And when we go out and play in the flesh, we're like lost sheep. And he wants us to kind of get lost and maybe get, thrown into the thorn bushes a little because he wants us to come back. He wants us to call out, Abba, Father. Abba, Father. Where, because we're lost. We're playing in the flesh. It's not satisfying. It doesn't fill our heart. and he's waiting for us to go, Abba Father, like a sheep calling in the lost in the field or lost in the blackberries. So it doesn't pay to sin. It never has. It's not fun. It's not cool. It's not rebellious. It's death. Because what I'm doing to myself, you're like, oh, that's innocent. You're just playing with yourself at home alone. No, I've done stuff. I've gotten STDs. I've hurt myself bad. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll have totally screwed me over. And now I'm paying for it. I'm almost 50. You might be in your 20s going, oh, it doesn't happen to me that way. Well, you're still new in your sin. In my 20s, I was life of the party. I was life in the fast lane. I was getting drunk every night, drinking and driving my fast car around. I got the girls. Yeah. But the end isn't pretty. When your body starts failing and you're 50 or 60 or 70, you're like, what the heck was that? 20s don't matter at all when you get older. You're like, that's nothing. None of that stuff lasts. Those aren't good memories. You're like, oh yeah, that was a crazy time, but you don't remember it because you're wasted and you're blacked out. That is not sustaining. You'll forget about it when you're 50. You'll be like, big deal. I want God now. That's the only thing that's sustaining, life-giving. That's my rant today. What do you think?